Solo market update with your boy Tex. Stick around, BTC, ETH. We won't be looking at anything else because everything is getting spanked right now. If you want to look at the two scenarios that we are eyeing off right now in this market and where I hope we may see an ETH bottom, stick around as I dive right in. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for joining me. Tex here from unitytradinggroup.com. As I mentioned, if you want to see more alpha like this every single day, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification icon, and get updates every single time that we go live, just like this. And also, make sure you hit that Discord link below. First time in almost 4 months that we have opened up the Discord. Lots of free alpha being shared there every single day. So let's dive in. BTC and ETH, as I mentioned, not looking good for BTC. How quickly things can change. When we came down here originally and hit this 32k bottom, we front ran this pretty relevant demand zone. We're all getting a little bit excited, as indicated by this sort of pin bar that we had here on the daily. We had our oversold condition on Steamroller, and we had bottomed on this RSI level. If you do want to know a little bit about the relevance of the RSI, check out that video in the top right hand corner there where I tell you my strategy for trading RSI and why that was a pretty good indicator from an RSI standpoint that we had reached a bottom on BTC on the 1 day Bitstamp time chart that we're on at the moment. So if we drew our drawing our fibs from swing high to swing low, when we came up here to this golden pocket zone between the 61 and 50 fib, between that 44 and 42 level, again, you want to know about fibs, top right hand corner, I break it all down for you. And if you actually do watch that and draw fibs in the way that I did as the example, you'll see that, again, months later, they are crazily accurate. But we're looking at a little bit more of a localized area here. We spoke about the relevance, I guess, psychologically of this area, and then also from this golden pocket zone here. And we came up and we've made a little bit of a double top here. And the unfortunate thing was that we had made an ever so slight higher high here, and we were looking for that push towards 50k. And I had said, if we could break that zone, then 50k would be a slow grind up, but we didn't even get to that point. And that just shows how timid this market is at the moment. We've got obviously the potential of a Ukraine invasion, Russia sort of messing with the markets a little bit right now. You know, it's still a timid market with the exception of that as well. But as I said in my video that I produced on very early January with BitMEX CEO Arthur Hayes giving his predictions for 2022, we weren't going to see, and we're not going to see, the euphoric massive runs that we saw in 2021. We think about that as almost a perfect catalyst for a bull run in 2021. Lots of people at home, pandemic forcing people inside, stimulus package, money printing. It was a really beautiful scenario for all the gains that we saw in the earlier and mid half of 2021. Are we going to see that again in 2022? I really don't think that we are. So looking at things from a Unicon standpoint, as we approached that 61 and 50 fib level, that golden pocket zone, we also had this 100 MA holding us back as well, where you can see that we've hit directly on that. And again, top right hand corner, I'll post the video again on trading with moving averages. You see the relevance when you start to mesh all this together, how powerful this strategy is. Fibs, RSI, moving averages, supply and demand. It really doesn't take much more than that to give you everything you need to know in this market across all different types of markets. So we rejected off that 100 MA. We've still got our 200 MA pointing on a downward slope, which indicates overall market weakness. You know that the relevance of the 10, 20, 50, 100, 200 MA and what sort of data they give you based on previous history and how powerful that is for showing you where price action may be headed in the future. So as it appears right now, unfortunately, we have just gotten a Unicon bearish signal as it stands. And that is not very good for the markets at this point, considering where we stand from an RSI standpoint, a steamroller standpoint, a price action standpoint. I'm probably anticipating a double bottom around that 32, 33k zone myself personally as it stands at the moment. So if we put on our volume profile and stick around later on in the week, I'll be sharing with you a volume profile video on what these nodes and all this these yellow blue bars mean. But essentially they represent volume and trading volume in a particular area for the range that you are looking at. Is a volume profile visible range is what this indicator is called. So we can see that our point of control, being the area of most liquidity, the most trading action, appears around that 34.5 level, all the way really down to about 31.8 where the high volume nodes sit. If we zoom out a little bit more, we can see that our demand zones line up really well here around 23k. For myself, I guess I'm looking at this sort of level, shall we say, around that 29, 30k level, if 32 doesn't hold. And, you know, when I talk about 29, 30, 24, we've got to think in levels of interest at this point. That's not exact numbers. That's why we use our demand zones. And this is quite a relevant demand zone at that. And my feeling is if we penetrate that, I would imagine we would have a hold up based on the liquidity in this zone. There would probably be a lot of buys stacked at that area, but we really need to see a good volume injection and push from that area if that's going to be a bottom for BTC or a bottom-ish sort of area. If not, then again, you know, the lower 20s around that 20, let's say where these volume nodes are indicating to us 26, 24. So March is going to be a really interesting month for BTC and crypto, and I don't think it's going to be a positive one. I hate to break it to you how quickly things have changed. We were definitely getting a little bit excited when Unicorn had given us that entry signal on the 1 day, but overall our fibs were telling a very powerful tale there, as were our MA. So if we go to the 1 week on this chart as well, we can see around this area here we are very close to what appears to be our 50 moving average, and then, or excuse me, our 100 moving average, and then our 200 sitting back down here around that 25k zone. So when in doubt, zoom out. Go to your 1 day, go to your 2 day, go to your weekly, and that is not a good looking weekly close. So it's unfortunate. Again, now is about capital preservation. If you're in a short, then you'll be doing very well for yourself. As we approach that 32 to 30k level, I'm really interested to see the reaction that we have. If we don't hold that, then the 20k's that it is. So yeah, not looking great for the market right now. All right, back to ETH. I'll just take all this noise off here. So I'll run you through a couple of scenarios I was talking about on ETH a few weeks ago. This is going back to the 8th of February at the beginning of the month, where we were, again, approaching this point of control. It's such a powerful tool. Again, if you want to know when that video drops later on this week, hit that subscribe and that notification icon, and you'll get instant updates when I release that later on. This is an incredibly powerful tool because it shows you real life data on the exchange on that pair where the volume has appeared, and I actually go a little bit further in that chart where you can isolate particular regions using what's called a fixed volume, and it will show you on that particular range that you were looking at the exact volume nodes for that that isolated area. It's a really, really powerful tool. So as we came up on the 8th of Feb, I was looking at this as a pretty powerful level to, if we busted through, then we would be looking at some nice price action up towards that 3738 area. But my anticipation was we hit that sort of zone up here, this volume profile, and then we would have an inverse head and shoulders. And it was my hope that we would continue up sidewards. But I did give two scenarios in that time. So we did come down and we did hit this. This right shoulder, and from there we saw a nice sort of reaction on that daily. A really nice bullish engulfing candle on the daily, and unfortunately we rejected from there pretty heavily, to which I gave the scenario, as I said today inside Discord, and I think also about a week and a half ago, I said if we rejected and this inverse head and shoulders didn't play out, I would really be looking at this zone down here being this 25 to 2400 level as the next level of interest. Because when we see these parallel channels, if we take a little bit of this noise off, what we see, I guess, before we find, let's say, like a true bottom on some of these moves within this parallel channels, is this sort of action. We see this almost double bottom sort of action where we engage with the bottom of this parallel channel a couple of times or within the zone of the bottom of the channel, and we sort of have a double bounce area where we would obviously like to see a higher low from here before we engage in more upwards momentum. But again, looking at the daily time frame, frame here now. If we look at gravy train, we're right at the bottom of our gravy channel. And if we do put on Unicon, unfortunately, we've now just been given a sell signal on the daily time frame on ETH. And if you can see, you go back every single time. This damn phone, I really should turn that alarm off so many times. How frustrating. So, you know, we can see within this area how powerful our Unicon indicator is as an entry and exit condition indicator. Undoubtedly, one of the most accurate indicators on the market, particularly when it comes to ETH. You can go to unitytradinggroup.com and pick that up on our indicators page for $25 a month. If you can't make money on that, then we can't help you, unfortunately. But yeah, unfortunately, we've just seen the bottom of this move now, printing this oversold signal on the 1 day time frame. Our MACD is also starting to see a little bit of divergence between our base and conversion lines. Steamroller has a little bit of room to move to the downside. The only sort of saving grace that I can see from here, where we may see a temporary hold up in this zone, is our Stoch RSI looking like it's bottomed, and again seeing a temporary hold up potentially. But as I said yesterday or the day before, when we hit that level on BTC, I think if we saw any sort of temporary pauses in the market, it would be just that, temporary, before more downside action. And unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, here we are. So my levels of interest are printed here down the bottom. This previous low at around 21.71, and then from there back down to sort of $1,700-$1,800. And when I am looking at horizontal levels like this, which give you those exact dollar amounts, which I don't like to do, I often put my bids, you know, 50, 60, or $100 higher, just on the off chance that there's a lot of people seeing this level and it gets front run. So if we put on our volume profile from here as well, we can see that as we zoom out, our point of control, our point of control for this range sits down here at this 2170 level. So what is that? That is 2130 for that area. So really this zone between, you know, 27.6 and 2000 is our highest level of trading liquidity for that particular zone. And then as we zoom out further, our point of control sits all the way back down at $1,730, which lines up really well with this previous double bottom and the bottom of this channel on the second touch of that. So as it stands right now, guys, I'm not overly positive on this market. If you're short, you're definitely in profits. Will I be dollar cost averaging in this area? I'm probably more inclined to just stay a little bit out of the market, preserve my capital, and look to see what happens come March for the rest of the month. I think trading anything under $2,000 for Ethereum starts getting a little wobbly, in my opinion, particularly as we start revisiting like that $1,700-$1,800 level. I really want to see the reaction at that particular zone to indicate whether I look to jump back in the market, pick up a little bit of ETH, because again, you've got to have your investor or your trader mindset on. Are you looking at long-term gains as you might dollar cost average? Someone inside the Discord which is saying, you know, I put $100 in a week, $100 BTC or $100 ETH for my kids for the future. I think it's a really sound strategy, because 5-10 years from now, where are we going to be looking at cryptocurrency? We're probably going to be laughing at this period here where we are. Remember when Ethereum or BTC was $1,700 or $2,000 or $1,000? We will laugh at that, because we know historically the price of Bitcoin has increased year over year very, very positively. So that's my thoughts. I really hope you enjoyed this condensed, quick little crypto market update. I would love to hear your thoughts below. Please hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Give this channel a like. We do this because we love giving back to the community, and we do it all for free because this is what we do, and we want to see you succeed more than we want to see ourselves succeed most of the time. So thank you. I am Tex. Take care. I love you, and see you on the next round. Bye-bye.